Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, picture this. It's a perfectly silent night in the small, picturesque town of Maple Creek, Colorado. You know the kind of place. Tree-lined streets, white wooden fences, everything is just absolutely still. Inside the Johnson family home, every single light is off. The parents, Daniel and Emily, they're fast asleep. And upstairs, their 6-month-old baby Sophie is sleeping peacefully in her nursery. It's the literal picture of suburban tranquility. Everything looks, well, perfectly, entirely normal.
Right, so let's dive into this. Imagine waking up at 3 in the morning just because your dog won't stop barking. You're exhausted, you're frustrated. You honestly just want to yell at him to go back to sleep. But what if ignoring him for just one more minute meant losing the person you love most? Because at exactly 3:07 a.m., the quiet of the Johnson house was completely shattered when their German Shepherd just exploded into frantic barking. And here's the thing, he wasn't barking at a stranger outside, he was barking at a hidden threat inside the house that no one else had noticed.
Section 1. The Rescue Dogs Promised. So to really understand what happened that night, we first have to look at the bond this family shared. Daniel had adopted Max, who was this quiet 6-year-old German Shepherd from a local animal shelter. And interestingly enough, research actually shows rescue dogs often form these hyper attachments to their new owners. We saw this exactly when Emily became pregnant. I mean, Max's protective instincts just kicked into overdrive. He became intensely protective, following her literally everywhere she went. And when baby Sophie finally came home, Max did something incredibly beautiful. He walked right over, sniffed her tiny blanket, and just rested his head beside the crib. It was like this silent promise to protect her. From that day on, he was her own personal sentry, sleeping right outside her nursery, facing the hallway every single night.
Moving on to Section 2, The Longest Night.
Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds, because that peaceful routine absolutely shattered on the longest night of their lives. Max started acting really restless, sniffing around the heating vent right beneath Sophie's crib. Now, keep in mind, a dog's hearing is roughly 4 times more sensitive than ours, which totally explains the terrifying precision of this timeline. At 2:47 a.m., while the wind is scraping tree branches against the windows, Max is wide awake. He's pacing, he's sniffing the air. By 2:54 a.m., he lets out this deep, low warning growl, which was actually enough to wake Daniel, who gets up, checks the house, but, finds nothing. But Max never closes his eyes. The tension just keeps mounting until exactly 3:07 a.m. At this point, Max is just desperately scratching at the nursery door. When Daniel gets up again, Max spins around, races back to the nursery, and literally locks eyes with him. It was as if he was screaming, "Follow me." The crazy part here is that the humans are completely oblivious. They're just tired and super annoyed. Daniel opens the door, sees little Sophie sleeping peacefully, and thinks, okay, everything is completely fine. But Max plants his paws and disobeys for the very first time in 6 years. He flat out refuses to leave the nursery.
So Daniel and Emily are just standing there, totally confused, trying to figure out why their normally calm dog is acting so erratically. And then they start to notice what Max already knew. There's this tiny, faint hissing noise coming from the air vent. Then a strange, unidentifiable smell. And then flicker, flicker. The entire house loses power. Complete silence. Complete darkness. Section 3, The Hidden Threat. In the pitch black, Daniel's flashlight beam catches Max. He's completely motionless, just staring directly at that heating vent. You hear a faint metallic click, and then, out of nowhere, Max charges straight toward the baby's crib. With all of his strength, he shoves it nearly 2 feet away from the wall. Emily screams, Daniel's shouting Max's name, and then a violent crack echoes through the room as the wall behind the crib literally splits wide open, and the metal vent bursts outward in this huge cloud of dust. Instantly, this powerful hiss fills the room. It's not an animal, it's not the heater acting up, it's a damaged natural gas line, hidden right inside the wall. Daniel immediately recognizes that awful smell and yells, "Gas!" Let's just pause and think about that. If Sophie had remained exactly where she was originally sleeping, she would have been directly in the path of concentrated toxic fumes, or even worse, caught in a fatal blast. Without wasting a single second, Daniel grabs Emily's arm and they rush out of the house with Sophie straight to the front yard. Max actually stays behind just for a split second, barking furiously at the broken wall just to make absolutely sure no one goes back inside. Once they're outside, Daniel's hands are shaking. He's struggling to catch his breath. He dials 911, frantic, telling the dispatcher they have a major gas leak and, oh, by the way, his dog was the one who found it.
Pretty soon, red and blue lights are flooding this quiet little street. The firefighters gear up and go in. And when Captain Robert Hayes comes back out, his expression is just dead serious. He tells the family how incredibly lucky they were. Turns out, an old pipe had cracked, and it had been slowly leaking gas into the nursery for hours. Literally one spark, one tiny static discharge, and the whole house would have gone up in a devastating explosion. Captain Hayes looks at Max and actually admits, "I've worked with canine units, but I have never seen a family dog detect something like this so early."
And that brings us to Section 4, A Hero's Legacy.
The realization hit Daniel like a tidal wave. All those years ago, rescuing a quiet dog from a corner of the shelter had led exactly to this very moment. And this brilliantly illustrates where animal biology just absolutely puts human technology to shame. Look at this. 2 days later, Captain Hayes brought over the hallway security camera footage. The firefighters' highly calibrated professional portable gas detector, it hadn't even gone off until they actually stepped foot inside the house. But Max's nose, which, by the way, is roughly 100,000 times more sensitive than ours, reacted at 2:47 a.m. He sensed those chemical changes nearly 20 minutes before the humans even woke up, and way before any fancy machine detected the leak. As you can imagine, the story didn't just stay in Maple Creek. The local newspaper headline spread like wildfire and sparked national news coverage. Letters started pouring in from total strangers. Kids were sending in these adorable drawings of Max wearing a superhero's cape. It was amazing. About a month later, the town held this beautiful, really humble ceremony right in the community park. Captain Hayes gave a speech about how they were honoring a hero who never asked for recognition. You know, a hero who simply acted out of profound love for his family. And Daniel clipped this simple blue ribbon around Max's neck that just read, "Hero." Fast forward and years pass. Little Sophie grows up into this bright 12-year-old girl, and guess who is always walking just a few steps behind her? A very gray-muzzled Max. One autumn afternoon, they're sitting under this big oak tree in their backyard, and Sophie asks her dad if it's really true that Max saved her life. Daniel just looks at the old dog and says, "No, sweetheart, he didn't just save your life. He gave us our future." Just a few short months after that conversation, surrounded by the very family he had protected for so incredibly long, Max peacefully took his final breath. They buried him beneath that exact same oak tree where he loved to rest. And on his gravestone, they inscribed, "Max, our protector, our best friend, our hero." It's such a moving story, right? Even today, when Sophie tells people about this, she doesn't start with the gas leak or the fire truck showing up. She always starts with the dog who just refused to stay silent. And I think it leaves us all with a pretty profound question. If the greatest heroes out there don't wear badges, never ask for a single round of applause, and honestly don't even speak, what unseen intuition, what silent protector driven entirely by love might be guarding you right now? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I'll see you next time.